Who's your emergency contact? Who should be notified in case of death? Welcome to the USP, where I've spent the last 2+ decades of my life. I haven't been posting this last couple of weeks. As you can see, I've just been hitting up the wall over here. Let me show you guys around a little bit. So let's see what we're doing. This is Evolution Tattoo. This is for my shop. We have an event coming up this Saturday for the with the day one guys, and we're raising money to help for back to school. We have an event on July 13th this Saturday with the day one. I'm a proud member of Day One Utah. We work with the youth and, at-risk youth and just in the community. This Saturday, we're raising money by selling food and collecting donations, school supplies for back to school for August. So we're going to go pass them out to the kids in August. So I've been trying to get this wall hit up in preparation for that. But so like I said, I apologize that I haven't been, posting, been on here like I want to, but it's just been a hectic week. But today I'm gonna take you guys back to the 90s, right? I got out in 98 after I did 28 months for my possession of unregistered firearm. Well, I got out around May of 98 and then ended up getting caught back up December 15th of the same year, 1998. So I'm just going to take you through a couple things that got me caught up. And these are alleged. These cases already been, they filed these cases on me already. And these cases were dropped after I got, my 26 years with the feds. But as I was leaving in 2022, the state trial filed charges on me. But they had violated my Fast and Speedy Trial Act, so therefore they couldn't take me to court and had to drop the case. And I think they dropped it with prejudice, or I'm not exactly sure which one, but the one when they dropped it in a way where they can't bring it back up, so I say that to say that, I'm good. I don't got to worry about the case coming back up or anything like that. So in 98, when I come out, I was hesitant. Well, first off, I was kind of hesitant to share these stories because I'm not trying to revive old feelings or anything like that. But for those that are watching, for those that know me, that's not my intention. My intention is not to glorify the things that I've done or whatever, or to drum up old feelings. Like I said, our community is pretty good right now as far as with the Asians and everything go. So this is just for entertainment purposes only, right? So anyway, when I come out in 98, a lot of my homies were all locked up. They're all in there for, shootings. Like we weren't really hustling out here. You know what I mean? We were just getting it in as far as like gang banging in the streets and all that stuff. We got a couple homies that move here and there, do their little thing, but for the most part, we were just out in the street, trying to hurt each other, man. So when I come out in 98, there's been a lot of things that's been happening with the homies and stuff that, while I was sitting in the county jail, I was, chopping at the bit, trying to get a part of, try to get a piece of it, because every time it always seems like I'm always locked up when the shit starts popping off with the homies and stuff. So when I come out in '98, there's only a handful of us left. The rest of us was already doing time in the state. Like I just got out, so I just barely finished my bid. So, but with the few of us, it was me, the homie Lil Man, my homie Bun, Puma, and that's pretty much about it. We had like a 4 or 5 man crew that was just wrecking havoc out here. But you got a lot of the homies. They're on, they were kind of like, I just want to get some money and all that, right? They were more of a hustler mentality than just than what I was doing. So on these occasions, I had a lick for us. I had went and checked out a spot and deemed it that it was a good lick, right? No security cameras, not a lot of foot traffic. It was in an area where we could pretty much move without being seen. So I brought it to the table about the lick, and some of the homies agreed. We had it was like a 3-man crew. I'm not gonna mention the names that were with me, just in case this does come back. But there was 3 of us, 3 of the homies, and we had an associate. The associate, he had worked at a car dealership, so he had access to G rides. So anytime we needed a ride, needed a car to do what we needed to do, he'd come up with one, right? So, like the authorities out here, they thought we were that we were pretty connected and plugged in, but in reality, we weren't, man. I didn't have any connections outside of Utah. I didn't have any connections with the major organizations up in New York or Cali or any of that nature. We were just over here freelancing on our own, trying to figure it out. But we were young, and shit was getting hectic out here. And, like I said, I signed up for this thing, with this thing. I didn't really know what to expect, like the full extent of it. Because, when you're kids, you're just like, okay, this can be fun. You're hanging out with the homie. You get into some things and you deal with it or whatever. But as you know, with anything, once it escalates, it gets to a point where you can't really turn back, and it's like tit for tat, and then before you know it, you're too far gone. And that was how it was with me. I started out hanging with the homies and shit, but every time we got into some, it just brought me in deeper into the game, and to the point where I was like, shit, this is what it is, man. This is gonna be my life, and I had love for the homie, still got love for the homie. Like, I always get the homies props because during the course of my incarceration, they was always there for me. You hear dudes in there like, oh man, fuck my homie this, fuck my homie that, they ain't doing shit for me. I put in all this work and they ain't looking out for me and all the rest of it, right? Well, I can't, for me, it's all love between me and my homies because, every time I call home, the homies always make sure I got what I needed, man. And to all the people that answer my calls throughout the years, much love and respect. So on this particular day, we're on our way to go, bust a move, right? So, like I said, we had a buddy of ours. He wasn't from the hood or nothing, but like I said, he worked at the car dealership, so he had access to G rides. And we had been accustomed to using him as our driver, you know, and he was down, as far as the driving part. Like he made it known, like, I'll drive for you guys or whatever, but I'm not really interested in all the extra stuff, right? He was more of he was more into money, frauds, scams, and he's an intelligent dude. But so we got to know him through one of the homies, and he came kind of our little connect as far as when we needed a ride or other things that didn't involve gang banging, right? So on this particular day, we suited and booted, and we getting ready to go bust this move, right? So on our way to the destination, we had to stop at this Billards. It's in West Valley Billards, right off of Redwood at 35th is where I used to go, and when I cut school back in the days, go and shoot pool and all the rest of it. So we had to pull over there. So we pulled up because the homie had to go change the license plate on the car, right? So we pulled up on the side of the building. He gets out, goes into the Billards to go do what he do. And there's three of us in the car, me and two other of my homies. So while we sitting there waiting for him, his car pulls up. And it's one of them dudes that we beefing with. I'm gonna leave his name out of it because I guess he had died in a car accident, a few years back. So I'm not trying to, like I said, drum up old feelings or whatever. So he pulls up in his little Honda Civic, and like I said, I've been gone for about 2 years at this time, so I really don't recognize everybody, So I asked the homie, I'm like, hey, who the fuck's that? Like, oh, that's one of them dudes. I said, what? So I go to get out of the car, but the homie in the front seat is like, hey man, what the fuck you doing? I said, what do you mean? I said, shit, I'm gonna go holler at old boy right now. He's like, man, we over here trying to get money. What the fuck? We trying to get some money, man. Leave that shit alone. I said, what? I said, listen, man, I'm trying to get these. He's like, man, not right now. We trying to get some money. And, we got a car full of freaking, straps and restraints and all sorts of fucking shit, right? So, I'm like, what I mean? I'm caught. I'm kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place because I know we're about to go bust a move. But at the same time, man, I'm trying to get at these dudes, right? So he's like, man, just chill back. Just kick back, man. Like, we getting money right now, man. Just kick back. So I'm like, all right, whatever. I respected it. You know what I mean? So we're sitting there in the back seat. Me and the little homie, just sitting there. But, my mind's on that dude that just pulled up. I just can't. I know what I say. I'm trying to respect the homie, but at the same time, I'm like, man, this dude's right here. I'm sitting right here, just a few yards away from him because he went to the Billards. Him and his girl that he was with went to the Billards. I'm strapped to the T, and I'm just like, man, there ain't nothing but just to go in there and handle the business real quick, right? So I'm sitting there in the back seat waiting for the homie to come back out, the one that went in to go, our driver, to go change the license plate. And I don't know what's taking his ass so long, because I'm just sitting there like, man, what the fuck is taking dude so long? I'm getting anxious. Because, if I'm not going to do anything, I might as well leave the fucking scene instead of just sitting right here with dude so close to me. And so I'm like, man, fuck this. I said, hey, I'm gonna go check on the homie. He's like, what? I said, man, I'm gonna go check on the homie and see what's taking him so long. And the homie's like, nah, you just trying to go over there and get that dude. I was like, nah, for real. I'm just gonna go check on the homie and see what's taking so long, right? So he's like, all right, if you leave everything in the car. Cause I got my my piece with me. He's like, hey, just leave it in the car. Well, all right, fuck yeah, I'm just gonna go check on the homies. So he's like, well, prove it, leave everything in the car. So I fucking, pulled the shit out, dropped it on the back seat, and left it in the car. Got out and started walking towards the billiards. Now, for real, like my intention at the time, for real, I was really gonna go check on the homie because he was taking his sweet time in there, fucking with the plates, changing the license plate, or I don't know what the hell he was doing, but he was taking a long, sweet ass time. So in the billiards, in the parking lot, when you go in, there's a big ass TV right there that shows your face as soon as you walk in. So I'm already on camera, right? But like I said, I don't have nothing on me. I left it in the car. So I see it, and my dumb ass looks up like, fuck, because I'm already on the shit. I'm like, damn. So I walk in, and to the left of me is the bathroom. To the right of me is a bunch of arcade games, and then behind the arcade games, there's pool tables. And on the wall, around the pool tables, there's these little benches that comes off the wall that people sit in to wait to play pool or whatever, right? So when I walk in, I see dude out of right here on my right. He's on a video game. He's on like the first video game that's right by the door, and he's playing video games. So when I get in there, I know the bathroom's to the left, so I could just like turn to the left. But of course, I don't. So I see him, he's just playing video games. And I don't know if he knows what I look like or anything. He's not paying me any mind. Like he's not up, getting ready, like, because I walked in or anything. So that kind of played on my psyche like, damn, this motherfucker ain't even paying me no mind, right? So instead of walking to the bathroom, I stop, I turn to him, I look at him, he starts playing his video game, and I'm like, man, I know I'm about to fuck up our lick, because we were on our way to a lick, but here I am, and this motherfucker about to start some shit, right? So I'm like, fuck it. I made up my mind, so I hit him up. I'm like, man, what's up, homie? Where you from? And to his credit, he wasn't no punk. He jumped out the chair that he was sitting in, playing his little video game. Like, hey, his West Side, blah, 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 his hood and all that, and kicks me. So, boom, kicks me in my stomach. Like, most Asians, I guess they all grow up thinking they know karate, right? So everybody, the first thing they do is they want to kick somebody, right? and I'm guilty of the same shit. I kick the shit out of you too, right? So he gets up, he goes, oh, this West Side so-and-so, and kicks me. And now we're in a tussle. He's got his hand in the back of my head, and he's trying to knee me in my face, but I got my arm blocking it, and we're moving around through the pool hall. And when we get to the side, I finally got an advantage of him, because, he's my size, and I pretty much feel like anybody that's my size, that I'm not going to allow them to whoop me, right? If somebody's bigger than me, that's a different story. But if you're my size, you're my weight, I really don't give a fuck what you know or don't know. I'm not going to allow you to whoop me. So I pick his ass up, and I body slam him on one of the benches in the back, the one that suspends off the wall. And he's got my hair. So I'm trying to, move his hand out so I can get to him. And I hit him. 1, 2, then on the third time, when I go to swing on him, I feel somebody hook my arm. Then they put me in a half Nelson. They grab my other arm and put me in a full Nelson. And I'm being lifted up on my toes, right? And I can't see because my neck is bent up. So that being said, the owners of the pool hall at the time were two brothers. And these are white dudes. They were ex-military. They're both like 6'6" or whatever. But they're used to all the shit that be happening in the valley, right? So this motherfucker puts me in a full Nelson, drags me through the pool hall, and throws me out of the fucking pool hall like in one of the Western movies where where they do just throw you out of the bar, right? He throws out, I stumble a little bit, and so when he throws me out, the little homie comes up, and the homie he's packing. He's like, man, what's up, man? What we doing? I'm like, nah, we ain't doing nothing. And I look around, he's standing there, he's like, get the fuck out of here. But in front, like I said, right when you come through the door, there's a big ass TV showing your face already, right? So I'm like, man, let's just go. So we go back to the house, to the car, and the homie's like, man, what the fuck? I'm like, man, I knew you was gonna go do that. I was like, man, I swear I wasn't trying to, man. He's like, man, I said, where the fuck is the dude at? Because the dude still ain't came out of the bathroom with the plates. The one that was fucking with the car plates. And I'm like, it's like, man, we need to bounce because somebody's calling the cops already. But so the dude comes out, we end up leaving, and of course we didn't end up hitting the lick because I fucked it up. So finally the dude comes out, the one that's been messing with the license plates and stuff. And he's like, man, let's go, we gotta go. He's like, man, what happened? What's going on? And I was like, fucking this fucker over here went over there and beat up dude in the pool hall, right? And so we had to leave, because we were all riding dirty. So we had to leave, and we didn't end up hitting that lick that day because I fucked it up. But we came back the next week and laid the place down or whatever. Not the pool hall, but the place that we were supposed to had hit on that day in the first place. But yeah, man, it was just like, back then I let my anger fuel me. Like I said, like in our line of and what we were doing, us and the homies, we had a rule that we don't shoot up nobody's houses. We're not with that drive-by shooting and stuff like that. But other dudes that we beef with didn't honor that. And they were just doing whatever they were doing. And some of the homies like, man, they're doing it to us. We might as well do it back to them. And I'm like, dude, like if you're really serious about trying to get these dudes, then let's just go up in there. Because for me, like, you don't even know if dude's home or not. And you just shooting up through walls. Like, we ain't never been about that, man. And, and the reason why is like, I got a homie that got paralyzed. He's the homie, but he's the homie's little brother. Like, he didn't gang bang or nothing, but they were trying to get at the little homie. And they went up and shot the homie's house. And they hit the homie's little brother in the back. And till this day, he's still in a wheelchair. He's been in a wheelchair for like 15 years. For me, like for my part, I'm not condoning anything that I've done. I'm not justifying anything that I've done. But I'm not trying to hit no innocent kid, man. That ain't got nothing to do with what we're doing out here. So, and the reason that they got rid of me as far as like testifying, telling on me and all the rest was because I wasn't doing that. I wasn't just going up, shooting through a wall, hoping I hit somebody, you know. And everything I did was up close and personal. Welcome to the USP.